So, if you're politically correct in 2021, you may want to not listen to this podcast. So be warned, there's going to be reference to Playboy in this podcast. So if you want to listen to it, be well aware that, again, we're going to be discussing nudity but not showing it. Now, when Playboy was at its biggest in, I think, the mid-1970s, where after style of living for men was the de rigueur, as we say, was selling millions of copies per month, a certain Playboy model kind of broke the mold of what the centerfold would look like. Now, the lady in question was someone called Marilyn Lange. She was born January 12, 1952 in Westfield, New Jersey. Now, she was Playboy of the Month for May 1974. At the time, she was a native of Hawaii, and later the 1975 Playmate of the Year. Now, her original pictorial, again, drew shockwaves because not only she was a very beautiful woman, she wasn't your typical, what do you call, wafer thin. She was 5'7", about 150 pounds, and long hair, no makeup, and basically just a young lady in the prime of her life, enjoying her life and wanting to pose for Playboy. But this is where it got weird, ladies and gentlemen. After she won the Playmate of the Year, she was still in the news a lot, and at the time, she was also playing soccer in her recreational time. She had mentioned that quite often. Now, as a publicity stunt, a certain team in the Men's North American Soccer League decided to take her in the 1976 draft. The Chicago Sting, for a lot of people, were looking for publicity, and they sure as hell got it, and not good. Now, at the time, the NASL was looking for all types of publicity to kind of promote the beautiful game as an American sport. Now, it was called at the time a disruption. Now, by 1976, I'm quoting from the 18.com soccer website, in the NASL's 9-year existence, the league had seen the arrival of Pele and increased from 5 teams in 69 to 20 in 1975, and matches broadcast nationally on CBS and ABC. Now, despite these successes, the warning signs were there. Ownership groups were unstable, like the WHA. Decisions to rapidly continue expansion were negligent, and the league lacked credibility, again, like the WHA. But it was simply gimmicky. The league hierarchy didn't believe that soccer, as it was, would sell. They implemented a clock that counted down to 0, a 35-yard line for offside, eccentric penalty shootouts as opposed to draws, and a non-traditional point system that saw teams move up the table by accumulating bonus points for scoring goals. The league also resorted to some awful publicity stunts, too many, none more infamous than what took place at the 1976 NASL college draft. Now, the Sting had attracted sparse crowds of about 4,000 for the debut season in the NASL. Looking for a bit of free publicity before the second year, they selected, again, Marilyn Lange, who was living in Hawaii, the 75 Playboy Playmate of the Year in the 4th round. Now, Lange never played for the Sting, nor did she appear in promotion for the club as they intended. A controversial interview between Chicago sports writer sportscaster Tim Weigel and Sting general manager Jim Walker led to Playboy admonishing the club and NBC. Now, part of it was this. Walker said, "We like what we saw." Well, she wasn't a soccer player, so you imagine by that very sexist comment. Now, Lange was quoted as having said, "I wish I were a guy so I could really play." She was totally serious. Now, she was doing publicity photos, but didn't do any promotions. Now, as a result, there was another team, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, thought it would make sense to counteract what the Sting did with a legitimate female player that will not be embarrassed to come to training camp and that will get a lot of publicity. They selected a true athlete, North Carolina's Betty Jo Woodward, whose initials BJ initially shielded her from the media spotlight, since it wasn't immediately evident that she was a woman. "I have never played soccer before, so you taught me some of the skills," said Woodward, who played basketball at UNC. Now, from what I heard with published reports, she was a very capable athlete and very decorated, and she said I was able to pick up soccer pretty quickly. Now, Woodward trained with the Rowdies for several weeks after being drafted and left with a jersey souvenir, but she never appeared for the Rowdies beyond that. Now, was that a mistake to waste a pick? Well, it all depends what you're looking at about wasting a pick. good publicity is sometimes bad publicity, but in this case, it wasn't. It wasn't something that really benefited the league. Didn't benefit our good young lady, and a mistake, you might say. Thanks for listening. Bye.